To the Sage 50 Cloud Pastel Accounting topic webinar. My name is Joanne Barnard and I will be your host and panelist for the session. Guys, today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about the price lists and how they work in Sage Pastel Accounting. So firstly, if you are using Pastel Accounting, there are two versions. There's Partner and there is Express. And if we go to set up inventory, if you are running Partner, you have the option of creating up to 10 price lists. But if you are running Express, you only have the option of 3. So there is a limit between Partner and Express of how many price lists you can run. You can then create those price lists accordingly. And here you will see that the price list name by default in Pastel will be 1 to 10 or 1 to 3. And you can then change the description to things like retail, dealer, distributor, wholesale, etc. And you would do that by going to set up inventory on the configuration tab. So that's where you would change them. The 10 price lists will always be there. Even if you only use one and it just says price list 1, that's what you will then set up, but there will always be 3 or 10, depending if it's Partner or Express, that you can then come in, change the description for, and use. Then when we are setting up our price lists, we set those up via the inventory and via the item file. Now, yes, you can import your prices into Pastel. Again, though, that layout will depend if you are using Express or Partner. But in general, if we're starting a new company and we had to come and we had to create our items, you would create your items and at the prices, this is where you would come in and you would then set your price, either inclusive or exclusive. So if we do, for example, for the retail, 2250, we will see that that will then create the inclusive. So you only enter one or the other. For example, if this should be 25, it will then fill in the exclusive. And we can fill that in for the different prices. So there we've got our dealer price, our distributor price. So and then our wholesale price. And we can see that it's filled them all in. Now, if we look at our prices, we see that we have selling prices and then we have future prices. Now, future prices are something that you can do if you know, okay, actually within the next 2 months, I'm going to do a price rollover and it's going to use the future price. So there are also other ways you can do this, but maybe you already want to set up your future prices so you can just run the assistant and it happens in a couple of minutes. And you can then set that up, for example, and go, you know what, I know for a fact that actually I'm going to go up to, 3,000. And the dealer's going to go up to the 2.5. And you can literally then set those up here. And then we can see how that all is working out. Now we can also very quickly check our gross profit. And we can see that for a lot of these, we are actually selling below cost. So this is where you can check and go, oh, hang on, I've maybe put the wrong thing. So maybe that should be actually, these should all be 3. So that my gross profit shows correctly. So guys, that's why all of this information is really important and that we can see. We can also, while looking at these things, in our inventory, we can set certain limits. So if, for example, I save that and I click off, again, if we go to setup and we go to inventory, so that we don't have people setting our selling prices below the GP, you can see that you have limits here. And it will tell you what is the maximum selling price, what is the maximum purchase price, but then what is the minimum gross profit percentage. Now, I've said this can be 0. Basically, you know what? There is no gross profit percentage. There's no problem. It doesn't need to have a percentage, but you can literally say, hey, so that my people don't set this into a negative, what I'm going to say is this needs to have a gross profit percentage of at least 15%. That is the minimum that this needs to be. And then what is the maximum cost difference? This is if, for example, you're entering your supplier invoices. What is the difference that I can have between my costing? And you might go, in order to make sure that they don't accidentally put a 1 instead of a 2, I'm going to say that this can only have a 30% difference. Whatever it is, the maximum you can have is the 99.99. Basically, you're saying it doesn't matter. A 0% is, again, for minimum gross profit, saying that you don't mind. So you can come in, you can set those, but remember, if you set them and the cost price is greater than 30% difference, the system's not going to allow you to complete that supplier invoice. It's going to tell you, hang on, there's a problem, and you're going to come and have to change that. But it is a way to ensure that when entering your selling prices or when processing, you don't have a user error where they, for example, in that instance, I had set a 2, which was below the cost price. You don't have that problem because the system would have warned you. It would have gone, hang on, this is the incorrect selling price because it's below the 15%. So the moment I enter the 3, we're fine. So here I need to look and go, oh, hang on a second. I'm actually going to put this to my 4,000. This is my 3,500. This is my 3,250. And this is my 3,150. And again, I'm not getting that warning now because I said my GP needs to be at least 15%. So that's where that helps with your selling prices. But your future prices, as we were discussing, is something that you can quickly switch over to. Then if we move further down, we have what we call special prices. Now, special prices are where you have a sale on. So for example, you're going to have a special price and you can set this again, and the system will automatically set this when processing. So for example, we're going into November. We all know now that there is something called Black Friday. You guys might be going, okay, we're going to have Black Friday specials, but how do I set that in Pastel quickly? We use our special prices, guys. So actually, my Black Friday special in the general price. So this is going to be my price for everything then. I'm going to sell this for, example, 3,000. And this is going to apply. And as you can see, guys, it's greater than one of my selling prices. So it's literally going, hey, I'm not sure if this is what you want to use because that is greater than the selling prices. It's not really a special for the dealer, for the distributor, or for the wholesale. Sorry, guys, which one? No, actually, oh, sorry, that's the inclusive. Sorry, guys, my bad. As we can see, it's not there. I meant to actually put that as the inclusive. That is now special for all of them. But when does this come into effect? And we can literally go either it's this week or it is just Friday the 24th. So it applies from the 24th till the 24th. And we can save that. Come the 24th, what we're going to see is when we're processing, anyone who buys this software, they're going to get it for 3,000. That is a special. It's an amazing special for retail. It's a bit of a special for my distributor and my wholesaler, and my dealer gets a bit off. But my retailer is going to really see that. You know, they're going to hopefully order a lot. Now, guys, where do most people put their specials on? They put those specials on stuff that doesn't generally move. They want to move that stock. Black Friday is a great time to move that stock. You know, most people, this isn't something they'd really buy, but if there's an amazing special on, can I still make profit on it? Yes. Am I going to make as much profit? No. But is the loss in profit I'm going to make worth it if a lot of people go, oh, hang on a second, wow, maybe I need to buy the software because it's on such a great special. That's what Black Friday is all about. It's when people buy things that they would not normally buy because of the specials. It's like, guys, in my case, as a gamer, I'm going to be looking at consoles. I'm going to be going, hey, what consoles are on special, and is it worth me actually going ahead and purchasing a console? Would I do that normally? No, because they're really expensive. But on Black Friday, if that's really worth it and I have the money available, that's when I might buy that. And that's where a lot of money will be made by people, because people are now buying it at that time of the year because we're aware of it. So that's where you could, for example, use these special prices, or you might have a monthly sale where you have a 5% that you give off on, for example, retail. It'll give you that message of, hey, this isn't really a special for the other stuff, and you might not care about that. You're like, yeah, cool. I don't really care because it's a special for retail. The other ones, what I'm going to do is I'll enter their normal price, for example, because that special price is going to enter for everyone. So if, for example, I had done that 3,000 exclusive, you can see here that is greater than one of your selling prices. It's actually greater than 3 of them. So when I'm processing, if a dealer, a distributor, or wholesaler comes in, they're going to look at that and go, yo, dude, actually my price is like 3,250. Why are you charging me more? You are going to need to know the special does not apply to my dealer, my distributor, my wholesaler. I still am going to need to now manually go and enter my correct prices. This is actually a special price I'm only doing for retail. Again, then you need to decide, is it worth using the special prices list here? Because it might not be worth it then. It might be worth it to rather go, hey guys, remember that there's a special, and rather put a 5% discount on the invoice for retail. So you need to see which way is going to best suit you. However, if the special affects everyone, then that's a great place to put the special. The thing is, again, you're going to need to do a rollover. So we're going to say that we've set up all our price lists for everything. And then the question is, how do we do that rollover? We do those rollovers by going into our inventory and going to adjust selling prices. And at adjust selling prices, it's the last option, run a price changeover. So after this operation, the future prices will be the current prices, and the old current prices will be the future prices. Now, guys, the reason that we do this is you might run the rollover. It may be accidental. Someone accidentally did this when they were actually trying to copy the current price list to the future price list, or they were trying to do an adjustment and they ran a changeover, and you're like, I didn't want to do that. If there is no backup, guys, you can just run the changeover again, because what happens is, if I had to run that, all that it would do, and you should have a backup, but if you don't, it's going to take these prices and move them here, and it's going to take these prices and move it here. If I run the changeover again, it'll just swap them back. So it's an easy thing to actually overdo or reverse, because these will be here and you just run it again and it'll move it back. And it's like, whew, okay, I didn't have a backup, but no sweat. I don't have to suddenly try to remember what they were. Alternatively, if you don't want to do that, you can just go in and just manually put them in again, or you can export your price list swap the two around and import it back in. So there are a number of things we can do, but that's where that is. The special prices, though, there is no changeover. The moment that date becomes active, it's going to use the price that you have there, and it's going to use that for all of your price lists irrespective. So you need to remember, does that special price affect all of your price lists or not? If it doesn't, how many price lists is it not affecting? And then is it worth using the special prices? So hopefully that's pretty clear. Then guys, before I show you the other options of changing prices, I want us to talk about how do we export and import a price list? Because maybe you've set up your prices. You're like, Joe, I've set up my prices. That's cool. I actually want to go in and change them, and I don't want to use the system to do that. What I want to do is I want to import them. The best thing to do then is to export your selling prices. You export it as a CSV. My advice would be please click the microphone. Whew, a lot of said words there. Please click the microscope icon or the magnifying glass, that's what it is. And just check where you are exporting to. I am exporting to my desktop. Give it a name, for example, selling prices.csv, save and process. Now I'm including the names because I want to see those names. Because I have multi-stores, I can either do one store at a time, I can do all of my stores, and what items do I want to export for? And then do I want to do blocked, unblocked, or both? Guys, there's really no point in changing your selling prices for blocked items. So in this case, I would say do unblocked only, but if you want to see both, totally up to you. I am going to select everything and we're going to go OK. What it's going to do is it's going to tell you how many were exported. And then if we go and have a look, we can now see our selling prices. I am using partner. So there's a reason I told you export them. Even if you don't have selling prices set up, export anyway. It's going to export them as zeros. What we can do is we can now look and see our options. If you're using Express, you will have ABE and then FGH will be inclusive. Because I have partner, this is going to go up to 10 before I get to my inclusive. Now guys, here we can see both my inclusive and my exclusive are set up. You can literally choose which one you want to zero out. So basically what I can do is I can delete that and I can go and zero all of this. I can go, I want that all to be zero because you only work on one. You choose. Either I'm working on exclusive or I'm working on inclusive. You don't need to fill in both. The system will do it automatically for you. Then here, sorry, that also should be 0 and that should be 0. Then what I'm going to do is over here at my inclusive, I'm then going to go and change and I'm going to go, okay, what am I doing? And I'm going to enter my values accordingly. And you can do that all the way across. And you're going to enter those in. And you can see that we've got our inclusive special prices. So this is where we see our special prices, and then it's going to go to our future. So here's where, again, you can go, okay, yes, I want this to be what it is here, whatever that may be. We enter those prices accordingly, and then we enter our future prices. So here we can do our 4, 5, and so on and so forth, guys. And again, are we working on exclusive or inclusive? If we're working on our, if we're working on our inclusive, we can again come in and we can zero those. So we can go, actually, I want everything here to be zeroed. And then we're going to go to our inclusive. I'm sure that, hold on, exclusive, exclusive. Why does it keep saying exclusive? Future price 5. I'm pretty sure one of these headings is wrong. Sorry, guys, because I'm seeing exclusive the whole way. That should be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This should be inclusive. It's something I'll raise with them. This should not say exclusive. So that is incorrect. This is where your inclusive starts. I will raise that with my dev team, guys, and I will log that as a ticket. So this is all your inclusive. It's just the heading is wrong, and I do apologize for that. So these are all of my inclusives. So it's going to say exclusive twice. That is incorrect. I will log that with my dev team. I'm so sorry about that. But again, you choose, you can come in, you can enter your values. Whatever it is that you're entering. And we enter those accordingly as we go through. And then, guys, what is very important, whether you are going to enter special prices or not, either what you're going to do is you're going to delete everything that's in these columns, or you're going to select the correct date. So either this is just going to be your slashes. So we're going to delete all of that. Sorry. Okay. Delete. And you're going to leave it as deleted, or you're actually going to enter dd/mm/IYYY. And you're going to actually enter it in. Because a lot of the time what you'll see is you'll see just slashes. So it'll just give you the 3 slashes. It won't actually give you day, month, year. So I want to see if I can actually just customize this. So format cells. Date, it should be date. And sometimes it'll just show like 3 slashes over there. It'll do like that. Guys, if it shows like that, it's not going to import. So either it needs to be blank and you need to save it. You can customize and say day, month, year. Or you need to actually enter in, for example, 24/11, 2023, whatever you are entering. When does it end? And you can copy that all the way down. Now, guys, if you don't have a special price set up, you can enter a date anywhere. It's not going to do anything. But you do need to be aware of this. It either needs to be blank or it needs to have an actual date. If it has 3 slashes, it's not going to import. We can then save, make sure that it's saved as a comma delimited. And what I mean by comma delimited is you'll see a number of comma delimiteds. Please not this UTF-8, just CSV in brackets comma delimited, that one. Save. If it asks you to replace, yes, close. Back into Pastel, File, Import Export. We can come in and import our selling prices. And I really hope that my layout is correct. But if it's not, guys, untick mapped fields. Please don't map your fields and do your own thing. It's very difficult to get this into the system please export and work on our layout. While this works for master files, it's very horrible when it comes to prices and stuff. Process, and what it should do is import successfully. Close, and then you can go in and you can edit your item file, and we can look at those options. We should see them there. Has those prices changed? Yes, they have. Can I see what's going to happen here? Yes, I can. And am I happy with it? Yes or no? So guys, that is if we're importing, if you want to change things that way. Because again, we're coming up to special prices. Maybe you just want to go and enter all those special prices, put in your Black Friday date if you're going to have Black Friday deals, and you want to import them. You don't want to have to come in and go edit inventory item file and fill in specials for 10,000 items. It's easier to work on an Excel spreadsheet. You change nothing. Don't change the exclusive. Don't change the inclusive. All you do is find special price list dates, fill those in, import back into the system. Then guys, we're going to talk about if we're adjusting from within the system. Does anyone have any questions on importing, exporting, and manually changing your price list? What future price lists are, what special price lists are? Guys, I'm going to give us until 1:30. Please can I ask that you click the raise hand icon if you have a question. If by 10:30 I've got no questions and I see no hands, I'm going to continue. If you have no questions, you can type no questions. And if I get no questions for everyone, I will then just continue. So I'm just going to stop and wait and see if there are any questions. Question icon, little question mark in a speech bubble. Type your question through to me and I'll answer it accordingly. Okay, guys, I've got no questions so far. We've only got a little bit of time left. So I'm assuming that there are no questions. If something does come, if you are typing and you forgot to raise the hand icon, don't stop. I will then just stop and answer the question if need be. Okay, so guys, here we can see I'll choose the operation. Now, this can make things a lot quicker. If, for example, you don't want to go and manually work out your markup, your GP percentage on cost, that type of thing. What you can do is you can select one of these options. So here we can see that we've got the adjust, which is the first one, which would be include your markup, include your GP percentage, and you can adjust and round on multiple price lists at the same time. The next one is to copy one price list or cost price to another price list. Now, this would be, for example, if we are looking at retail, seniors, that type of thing. You may go, okay, I'm going to start with my distributor. That is the lowest price I have, and then I know that from distributor, I go to wholesale or whichever one is cheapest. You start with your cheapest one and you copy it to all of them, or you copy it to the next one. So we would go, okay, wholesale is my lowest. I'm going to copy from, for example, now in this case, it's from store to store, which also helps. But here you can, oh, sorry, is that my stores, not my price lists? Copy one price list or cost price. Store, item, next. Oh, there we go. Sorry, guys. So it's from one store to the other store. And that's because of multi-stores. If you don't have multi-stores, it'll open here. And it'll say, which are you copying? So, for example, I'm copying wholesale. And I'm going to copy to my distributor. You can also select multiples. So you can go, I'm going to copy to all of them. But we can go, okay, I'm going to copy to distributor. Next. And then what am I doing? Do I want to adjust? Do I want to round? Do I want to do both? Or don't I want to do anything? Now, if you do nothing and you're just copying, you're not going to be able to say if you're working on inclusive or exclusive. But let's say we're adjusting and rounding. I'm then going to tell it, okay, I want to work on my inclusive next. Now I can adjust it. So I can go, okay, it's going to copy what's in my wholesale. So it's going to copy that 3,000 up, and then I'm going to adjust it by my 2.5%. So that's what I'm adjusting by. So my distributor is going to have an increase of 2.5 next, and I'm going to round to the nearest 0.05 cents. So either here you can see round to the nearest, or you can say I want it to end in. So if you tell it to end in the nearest cent, for example, whole cent, 0.00, I think it is, or whatever it is. I don't normally do that. But basically it'll end in the nearest, sorry, so 0.10. It's going to end in the nearest 10 cents or end in the nearest 5 cents. That's what it's going to end in. So either you round or you make the price end always in a 5 or always in a 10. So it'll be, for example, 20, 40, like that. That's up to you. Next, it's going to advise you what it's doing, and you can say process. We can then run this again, and we can then go, okay, what we're doing now is we're copying distributor to dealer. And again, that goes up by 2.5. And in this way, all of your prices for all of your items will be created. So you know what percentage the markup is on for those different price lists, because your GP is a set percentage, and then you can go, oh, my GP at the lowest rung is 5%, but then I want my distributor to be 7.5, and then I want this to be 10, and then I want that to be this. And you can just tell it to adjust the percentage by X to work out that inclusive price. So that's what you can use that one for, which can be really useful and can help you to enter those prices quickly without you having to go and work it out with a calculator. That's one way to do that. It is also if you just want to copy them across. Maybe you've entered all of your prices for one store, and what you actually want to do is just copy all of those prices for all of the stores. So basically all that you're doing is you're going, listen here, actually, I just want you to copy the prices over, then copy all current price lists to future price lists and adjust them. This is how you can go and set your future price list. So again, you're going, hang on, we're coming to year end in March. I always do a 5% increase, or I've told people we're going to send out, guys, please remember that in March or in January with the schools, there is going to be a 2.5% markup on school fees. There is going to be a 5% increase on monthly school fees. This is where, if your future prices aren't set up, we can go in, we can copy them across. Again, guys, because I'm using multi-stores, it's there. If you're not, it'll just come straight to the screen. We are going to adjust only, round only, or adjust and round. What am I working on? Inclusive or exclusive? Make your selection. Next, and then we're entering the adjustment price. So what I'm doing is I'm copying this year's current prices, and I'm then increasing them in my future prices to my 5%. If I'm rounding, what am I rounding to? In my case, I'm going to round to the nearest 5 cents. And now that is going to sit in my future prices. So I send out that email. I tell people, hi guys, next year or in March, whenever it is, there is going to be a 2.5% increase on the inclusive price that you are currently paying, or there is going to be an increase of 5% on the inclusive price that you are paying. Great. Come that time, it's now 1 March, run my price changeover. Next, if you don't have multi-stores, it'll just be here. If you do, again, guys, you can select the store. It probably is always going to ask you the item. I can't remember. Sorry, guys. It's been a long time since I haven't had multi-stores, but you can choose a range normally. In this case, it's normally everything. We come in. It tells you what it's going to do. You should have a backup just in case you do it wrong. But remember, it's going to take the current prices, put it as your future prices. So if you had to accidentally run this before you were ready, we can come in, go into inventory, item file. And if you go in and you're like, oh no, I already ran my price changeover. Guys, here we can see it is. You can just run it again. It'll move it back. It's not a train smash, but we can see that it's done that changeover. So these are how we can quickly do these things. Are there any questions with how the different functions of adjusting the selling prices work if you use an app? Why you would, for example, copy one price list to another, how that can quickly allow you to set up your various price lists without you having to set up a calculator. Does this make sense? Are you guys happy with the assistant and how it works? Are you also happy if you want to work outside of the program, how your Excel spreadsheet can help you? Because guys, this is basically price lists and how price lists work in a nutshell. From here, that's how they all work. But then why would you have multiple price lists? That's where your customers come in, and you can go and in processing? No, terms. Yes. Sorry, guys. In terms per customer, this is where you can set your price lists. And what that means is that when you process against this customer, that is where they will use that price list. Now, price lists are over a number of customers. When you give a specific customer a certain discount, that is where you can either enter the invoice discount, or if, for example, you know that this customer always pays early, this is where you can say to them, you know what, since you always pay 5 days from the invoice date, I'm going to give you a 2.5% discount every time you do that. This incentivizes your customers to pay you early because they get extra discount. Yes, that does mean that the company is then responsible for that discount. It should still be a profit to you, but it can incentivize your customers to pay early. Or you can just say, hey, you always order. Sorry, guys, I've got hiccups. Give me a sec. Or to keep your customer and make sure you're a preferred supplier because they always, you know, are using you, that is where you could give them an overall discount of 1.5%. To say, hey, because of our relationship, because of the fact that I know you always order from me, I'm giving you this percentage, or for whatever it is, depending on what you decide. That is where, although this is their retail price, they will then get an additional 1.5% off on every order, and you can hopefully retain them. So this is where you do specific discounts, but the actual price list itself is when you go, this customer falls into my retail customers, or this customer is a dealer, or this customer is a pensioner. And you have a group of customers that fall into those price list brackets. That's where you then set those price lists, and when processing on your processing screen, that is the price list that will be pulled forward. Does that make sense, guys? That is price lists. Hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully the information is helpful to you. If I've confused you anywhere, if you have a question on anything, please use the question icon. That is the little question mark in the speech bubble found on the right-hand side of your page. Please can I ask that you send your questions through to me now? And I will give us until 10:45. Again, I'm going to ask, please click on the raise hand icon, because maybe it's going to take you longer than 3 minutes to type your question. However, I do have some notices, so I'm going to give you those notices while I wait for questions. If we get to 10:45 or past 10:45, there are no questions or there are no hand icons raised, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to let you exit. And then 2 minutes after that, I will manually close the session for everyone. So guys, that being said, our next webinar is going to be run on the, and I just want to double check here, on the 23rd of November. And that is on how customer overdue interest works and how we set up customer overdue interest. We then have a webinar on the 7th of December, and that is an open webinar. What an open webinar means is that through the year, I have run webinars on various topics. You may have seen them, you may not have seen them. If there are ones that you have not seen and you need recordings, please ask me. If you have any questions on any of these topics, this is where you can come with those questions and go, hi Joe, you ran a webinar here and I have this question. This is also where if you have had questions and I have not addressed your question on a topic that has not been run, you can come in and go, hi, I use Pastel, Express, or Partner. I need this feature, or I have seen this feature and I do not know how it works. Can you explain this feature to me and how it works? Depending on how complex it would be, I will then either explain it to you then or then and there, or I will use it as a future topic in the new year in January. So it's not that I would be like, oh, hey, we're going to run this in June. And you're like, well, I kind of want to know now. But for example, guys, if someone asks me how the export 32 works again, I can explain it very quickly. But if you want in depth, that is a webinar that I will need to run in depth. And that I can do in like Jan, Feb, depending how many topics we're going to have to do. So that is what the open webinar is for, but hopefully I will be able to answer your question. I will be able to address it and we can have that open webinar. If there are no questions that come, then guys, I'm probably going to chat about things that can happen when you go on leave and things to be aware of. Like often in January, we get many error code 20s and the reason we get many error code 20s and how you can avoid those. So please bear that in mind. Then guys, I just see I've got a thank you. I thought I had a question. Then I would like to inform you that what used to be Sage City, its name has changed, as has the actual address. If you still type in Sage City, it will redirect you to communityhub.sage.com/ZA, but this is now called our Community Hub. And that is the new address. At some point, Sage City will stop working. So if you do use Sage City, please will you go in there and favorite this so that you don't type Sage City and suddenly tells you it's not there. It's no longer called Sage City. It is called Community Hub. Again, Sage 50 Cloud Pastel is for all Pastel versions, whether it is version 10, which is commonly called 2009, version 11, version 12, version 14, version 17, version 18, or version 19, which is called Sage 50 Cloud Pastel. And we can see that by going help about. It says Sage 50C Pastel Partner, but the build number is 1942 in this case, but it's 19, which is version 19. Yes, it's called that, but the umbrella name for Pastel has been changed to Sage 50 Cloud. So it is for all of those versions. In 9 out of 10 cases, the solution we give you will work for all of them. We do ask that you, however, say, I am using either Pastel Partner version 11 or Pastel Express version 14. And if possible, please give us the build number, 1942, 1411, because guys, your problem could have been caused by a defect. And we can then say, look, we see that you're running partner version 1411. This was actually fixed on Pastel Partner 1942. Can you upgrade to the latest version? You won't have that issue. Or it was fixed on 1431. Can you at least upgrade to the latest version of 14? This is where you can find it if you don't want to upgrade to the latest version. So that's where that'll help. This is also where, guys, you can set up your Sage ID, and I do advise that you sign up for notifications. So here you can see it's telling me to join the group to interact. In this case, I would more sign in. And if you create an account or log in, what it's going to do is it's going to ask you to either log in. If you go create account, guys, it's literally just what is your email address, what is your first name, last name, password, confirm password, and you sign up. In this case, I would log in. And then it will show again for me to participate, but because I already have my notifications turned on, that then comes through to me as an email. Now, announcements are where we are going to announce things to you, like our webinars, or Sage City is now the community hub, or are you aware of our masterclass season 3? These are free, almost webinars again, guys, that we are giving you, or videos or resources where we tell you building business resilience, why sustainability is your superpower. We're trying to help you grow your business through the lens of small and medium, and these are the videos that we've created this time. Sometimes there is also a webinar attached you can sign up to, but these are our master classes. So you can see those announcements. If, for example, unfortunately, we have a technical glitch, the number isn't working, this is where we will let you know. This is where I let you know about that phasing notice that was going around. And I was saying to you, guys, please be aware, we do know about this. This is what you can check. And if you're unsure, let us know. So we sent out our notification to your email, but I also advised here. So that's where we can see all of this information. Should you have a question, that is where you can come in and you can go into the forums and you can start a general discussion. And you can ask us your question and go, look, I have a problem. Can you help me? And we can then try to answer it. It's also if you do have an issue where you can see that maybe there is an answer and you can hopefully come in, and based on that answer, you can then verify. If you go in and check, you can go, okay, yes, I see this, do what needs to be done. And if it worked, you can actually come in and verify. You can go, you know what, actually, yes, this did work for me. So that other people can see that. They can see that there's an answer and they can know that that answer worked. So guys, that is the Sage Community Hub. Other than that, as I said, the last webinar will be on the 7th of December. I've now spoken for quite some time. No questions have come through. So guys, I'm going to end it there for today. I do hope that you have a fantastic day and a wonderful weekend. I hope that you learned something from this. Thank you so much for joining me, and you are welcome to log out. Ciao, ciao.